Greetings. Today, the moon continues in Aquarius for the third day and then goes into Pisces just about 12, I believe it is 12:31 p.m. Pacific time. The moon goes into Pisces. So we're going to be heading into this moon energy, this mood of the day that is activating the Pisces energy. And we've got Neptune in its final days of being in Pisces. So good time to really be aware of what is unfolding in the energies. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Wednesday, March 26th. And so we're continuing with this Aquarius moon energy for half the day, a little longer depending on your time zone, of course. But we've got this energy of the future. And one thing to remember about the future is that the present right now is the future of the past, right? So, where you are, we were talking yesterday about imagining and thinking from the future and thinking and imagining and putting ourselves in that place of 10 years from now, right? For example. And what would we be thinking then? What would we be noticing or appreciating? What is our dream, our vision for what will unfold in that time in the future? And how does that inform how we act and what kind of choices we make and what we do and how we think about ourselves and our lives right now in the present? So, another way to think about this is that right now in the present, you are in the future of 10 years ago, right? so so what were you thinking about, hoping for and dreaming about 10 years ago, which is kind of a long time ago but also kind of not? And so as we really reflect on what is happening now that we could have expected, what is happening now that we may not have expected, and getting that perspective of what we couldn't have seen, what we couldn't have known then, but also what is emerging, what is new, what is different, what is the creative possibility of this present moment, and what is shifting and changing that we couldn't imagine 10 years ago. So right there's yet another way to get outside of the box of your own current thinking to expand into new possibilities of what things could look like and how to think about this moment in time and your own actions, choices, behaviors, perspectives in terms of how you understand what is happening in your life and in the world, in the collective. So, getting outside of the box of some of our thinking that limits us in terms of possibility. So I'm really curious what this helps you see or if it's interesting to you. And then I want to talk also about the moon going into Pisces. So outer planet Neptune is in Pisces, right? Has been since 2011, 2012. So outer planets change signs very infrequently, and they give us this sense of the background energy. So, what is the soup we are swimming in as the day to day, week to week events unfold in our lives? And with Neptune having been in Pisces, we've had a lot of dissolving of old structures, old boundaries, grief, letting go, connecting to a bigger picture, what really brings meaning to our lives, but also this bigger sense of the potential to lose our way, to experience delusion, confusion, misinformation, right? All the energy that we've had and the soup we've been swimming in that has to do with the truth shifting depending on who you listen to, and the who has the authority to decide what is the truth also shifting around. And what do we want, right? What's okay with us about that, and what is not okay with us about that. And so the point is that right now, this week, with the moon going into Pisces, the moon, which moves very quickly, right? We see it changing every couple of days, and we see that it activates these energies. So it brings them into how that is showing up in the day to day world. And so we are activating the Pisces energy, just as Neptune is completing its time in Pisces. Also, this is a waning crescent moon, so it is completing this moon cycle that began with the Pisces new moon. So it's a Pisces moon cycle that is now coming full circle and coming to completion and closure as the moon returns to Pisces, where this moon cycle began, completing some of that Pisces energy before we have the moon shift into Aries, just in time for the March 29th Aries solar eclipse. So what does that mean? It means that as the moon goes through Pisces, it's enhancing, it's activating, it's bringing to the surface these Neptunian energies. And with Neptune in the last degree of Pisces, in general, we have things coming to the surface, right? What do we need to reckon with? What do we need to reconcile about the time where we've had Neptune in Pisces since 2011 and 12? So what is being completed? What is surfacing for us to see where we have not been able to see when we were in the middle of the soup? And how do we need to be aware so that we can bring some resolution to some of these issues of myth? And what I mean by that, myth and narrative and story, and what is the bigger metaphor that we are living under? I mean that it really is about what you believe, how you connect to a bigger picture, what may be tempting in terms of uh, easy, an easy solution. So the same way that we might reach for potato chips when we're hungry, right? It's an easy solution. It tastes good. It makes us feel good in the short term. Think about how those easy answers have shown up in the collective and in the collective mythology, which has to do with how we understand ourselves, what is unfolding, what is happening in the world. And this is true for all of us. So, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, there is the potential to have lost your way, to have misunderstood, to have gotten distracted by things that felt important in the moment, but maybe really weren't what was actually important at those deeper levels. So, I know what I'm talking about right now is complex, but what I'm trying to convey is a sense that things could be erupting, things could be coming to the surface for us to look at, and for us to ultimately recognize where we need to let go, where we need to surrender, where we need to allow, and where what is changing is going to change and we can't control it. But that doesn't mean we don't have agency, right? And so when we know who we are and how we want to participate in this bigger mythology, this bigger metaphor of what is reality, what is important, what do we care about, what are the bigger picture principles and ideas and ideals that we care about, and themes of compassion, empathy, caring for others, bigger picture, connection, interconnectedness, interdependence. And how are we going to embody those themes as Neptune goes into Aries with this Aries solar eclipse? And I had a video on these energies back on March 23rd. So check that out if you missed it, on this Aries shift and the Aries solar eclipse. But the point is to use this time, this Pisces moon time, to connect with your own bigger picture, to recognize where you need to let go, to grieve some of the things of the past that maybe didn't go the way you thought they would or should, and where you may have been confused, misdirected, even a little bit lost in a fantasy or a dream or an illusion of what you thought would be true, and recognizing that the need to let go of that old experience to open to what is actually true at those deeper levels in the bigger picture, to be ready for this rebirth moment of the Aries solar eclipse and Neptune going into Aries. So thinking about this with the moon going into Pisces and some of these energies and themes being activated, noticing how they might show up in your life and where you need to let go of attachments of the past, where things might be surfacing that can actually clarify the way forward if you allow it to speak to you, if you allow yourself to move and shift and change in that flowy way, to respond to some of the way that the energies are speaking to you. I'd be really curious to hear how that is showing up for you, or what you notice, or whether what I said is totally confusing to you, because I'm happy to answer any questions about what I'm talking about, or if it is helpful and what it helps you to see or connect with. So I love hearing from you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn how to work with me at astrologyheals.com. And I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.